Showtime. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Toonkind at 12 FPS. Today, I am your host, one noodle or pasta or udon, or whichever variation thereof you are feeling like today. And today I will be playing one half of a duo that is reuniting for the first time in 5 years. One
Oh,
Jubilee Yukon. And I am joined today by my lovely co-host.
hello! I am Spec. Spectral Haunts, your resident ghost fox. I don't have as cool of an intro. I'm fine with that. I will be playing the second half of this duo. Uh, a one Timmy on it. On it. On I can speak words right now. On yeah,
And
good words.
it's good, it's fine, it's great. He's a lovely boy who's definitely having a good time.
Yeah,
For sure.
best vibes. Top 10.
Yeah. But speaking of Timmy,
Mhm.
it's been quite a while, but as of what did we say? 2, 3 days ago?
I think I said 2 days ago. 2 days
Yep.
ago was when he noticed.
2 days ago, a certain compass of his has finally started to point steady again, and he has been following it across Inkwell to a certain city in the desert, one with a bit of an ironic name, Las Illuvia. And, well, Timmy's shown up and he's brought a storm with him.
That he
You
has.
want to
That
tell me more about what he's doing right
I
now?
will I will. Timmy finds himself towards the edges of this town, and with him a storm has come. He almost always follows storms, but this time it's as if Inkwell itself knows that something is wrong in the air. And with Timmy, this town, which, if I remember correctly, is supposed to be very dry, isn't it?
Yep, it's in the middle of a desert.
Yeah, no, the wind is blowing and there's already a heavy amount of mist in the air. But as Timmy begins to approach, with him comes this heavy storm of high winds, rain, and lightning. And he stands on the edge with his bandana, a burning red color, the same color as his hair. And his face is just set in a glare as he pulls out his sword, and around the handle is tied a compass. And he
Mm.
looks down at it and sees that it's pointing in and begins to walk into the city.
Roll me some perception and roll it with
Alright.
advantage because of that compass.
Alright. Please, Timmy, please. I know you don't like rolling. That was not. Nope. God. Okay.
That's the vibe check. I think that
Okay.
needs a bonus.
Yeah, that needs a bonus. I can count that though because all right, dice.
We
For anybody
have Mulligan.
for anybody wondering, the first roll of the game has been a nat one. So we're starting off great.
Yep.
And followed by a nat 20. Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
know. I have an idea of how to flavor that. All right. All right. So, Timmy, you are looking for someone. And this is probably your first time in this city and it is riotous. Even for how quiet it is, you can tell people are trying to avoid the rain and are quite surprised by it. They're all ducking into different shops and restaurants and bars and into this massive casino in the center of the city. And as you go, you almost miss you almost miss it because it almost doesn't look like him as you keep walking, but the compass turns and you have to take a second and readjust, but when you do, you turn and see a tall figure who is trying to get out of the rain as well, but you catch a flash of something very familiar. Beyond the long jacket and the blue beanie and the white strip in his hair, you see a compass that matches your own exactly. You found him.
Bastard. I'm
And
sorry
let's
he said
see.
it he just said it just
Let's
comes back.
see.
God.
But on the other end, Juby, do you notice?
Mm.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
oh,
So based on what you've told me of his ability, is would
it
that
would
need to
not
be at disadvantage?
that let me see. Let me see. Let me check it. Okay, he has light
Mhm.
rain. He okay, yes. If he was walking in the rain, he would have very much made sure he was invisible upon entering the city.
Mhm.
So, he is going to like do people do people have disadvantage? How does invisibility work?
I think you get advantage to stealth. So, nah, roll some stealth. At advantage because that's how invisibility works, I think.
We'll go with that. It works.
Listeners later, please be kind
Let's
if we're
please
wrong.
please we're do I don't even
Roll
need it.
again, see if you
We're
get
gonna roll
higher,
again.
just for
No,
the sake of higher.
it does not get higher, but still it beats. Both beat.
Yep. So he's something's up. You can see that he too the rain is just coming down and he can tell something's very off, but he does not see you.
I I think this is where we should roll initiative, actually.
Oh. Well,
Oh,
fair
indeed.
enough. Let's roll initiative, but
Unless you have anything else, because Timmy's next action will technically be a spell for initiative.
mhm, he gets because Jubilee does not know you're there. You would get a surprise round, and then we'll roll initiative.
Ooh. So for the surprise round, let me pull up the spell because there you go. You Juby, you noticed around you fog begins to form. It's a thick fog and it's starts to fill up the entire area until your vision is completely obscured. This is not just the light mist anymore, and it billows perfectly around you. The wind isn't moving it. In fact, the wind just happens to be just still enough where you are that the fog doesn't clear around you.
Hmm.
And you are completely what's the term again? Heavily
Scared?
all your vision is heavily obscured. All your vision is heavily obscured. That's the one I was looking for, but I mean scared
That
works.
works.
Both
Alright,
can be applied.
fair enough, and this is the point where we would roll initiative.
Listen, and Timmy gets advantage on that, but knowing him, come on,
Oh.
Timmy.
Oh!
Timmy! I get
Fitting,
it.
a bit fitting, a bit fitting. So Judy
It's
goes
always
first.
fitting. It's always fitting.
So what Jubilee does is, and again, you still see this, Timmy, you still see him, but you see him a bit better because there is a sudden light, this warm golden glow that seems to click like gears into place as it radiates down his sword and dagger. And that you don't need to even roll anything for. You know that's new. And that's not right.
No, it isn't.
He shouldn't he shouldn't be able to do that. So, and
Um,
Jubilee is going to take the dodge action and be ready for whatever is coming for him.
'Cause there's something there.
Yeah,
Jubi can tell. There's something in there. There
that's not right.
is alright, here it is, my favorite scene. Let me roll to hit.
Roll 'em dice, roll 'em dice.
I'm rolling. I gotta the spells and things are on the other side. Um, I gotta gotta flip sheet. That's not gonna hit. We're not gonna even pretend.
Nope.
Did you however, my
Mhm.
gosh, does he just waste his, thing for that? You notice, Juby, as the fog in fact, would you be ever consider looking down at his compass?
I think he does for a minute.
You
Just
watch
confusion.
you watch as it suddenly straightens in front of you, and the mist completely splits down the middle as you watch a boy who you haven't seen in 5 years, who last you saw was much shorter, had blue hair and the biggest smile and bright, shining eyes that seem to like crackle with electricity, leap out of the mist with his sword aimed at you, with hair as red as this bandana and his eyes full of hatred. And he brings his sword down on you, which you block. And you can
Mhm.
flavor how he does that if you wish, or he dodges, up to you. I'll let you have fun with that.
I'd think I'd think it's looking at that compass is what gives him enough time. He's already prepared to do something for anything to jump out of this fog, and he sees the compass suddenly aim in the direction, doesn't quite register what it means yet until he is leapt out of the way, turned on his heel, and readied his sword, only to be staring down the blade of his rapier at his brother. And he remembers what those colors mean. And gosh, no, he wouldn't be able to hide it. Not at first. He is incredibly shocked, and his eyes widen in surprise. You almost could imagine you would be able to see both of the outlines of his eyes, which is never seen, just one. As he stares at you, Timmy, and you just hear barely above the rain this, "Timmy? Is it's you."
Arl. And he doesn't even say anything at you. He just shifts his stance as he realizes he missed and just prepares himself to do another attack. There's no words said, no hello or anything. It's just this raw, cold anger.
That's not right. That's not right. Hold up. He Yeah, that's not right for what he knows of this kid. That's different, that's wrong, that's different. But he just, again, steps almost back on his heel and readies his sword again to deflect, not attack. And that's all he does with his turn.
Oh boy. Timmy straightens his stance, and let me see if I can get a nice little picture to show how this is looking right now. As he puts his sword to the side slightly, and there is a singular bolt of thunder because he's a dramatic little boy. Um, as he glares down over at you, and he goes, "Been a long time, hasn't it?"
You got taller?
You haven't changed.
Oh. Oh, no. And here we go. This is the point where we start rolling deception. Yeah, that's a 16. He does okay. He doesn't flinch. There's maybe a little bit of a twitch of his eyebrow as he stays put and just what do you think you're doing? I why the so what are you doing?
Think it's quite clear. I am putting you in your place once.
Uh, what?
Well, you think I was just gonna walk in here and hug you?
I I didn't assume that much. I
Hmm,
just I what?
5 years and you think that I'm just gonna greet you as you run away again?
I'm not running.
Hmm, that's a first.
Take your turn.
Yeah, I know, I gotta take my turn.
Oh boy.
Okay, let's see. Timmy, do you have all right, he's gonna just try and attack again. I have my
Oh.
head in my hands again, Timmy, my
Again,
little
it's still fitting.
it's so fitting. Once again, Timmy, after saying that, raises his sword and launches himself at you. But even though he seems to be a lot more confident in his fighting, he's definitely more confident. When you past knew him, he could barely hold his sword without trembling. Now he just an extension of his arm. He still can't seem to hit you. In fact,
Mhm.
once again, he finds himself missing. And you can, if you want, I can say how, or you can say how. It's up to you.
I think Jubilee just dodges out of the way again. He's a lot quicker than he used to be. Just
Then-
not something you're used to, because similarly, Jubilee was also really bad in a fight. Timmy would remember that
Yeah.
Jubilee, if he ever had to fight someone, he was awkward and gangly and just not good. This is he almost dances out of the way with a swirl of his new coat, which is oddly in pretty good shape. He doesn't even with Raven, he didn't have things like this. This is kind of nice. And he steps away again and almost winds up behind you and clicks his tongue a little bit and see. Do you manage it? Yep. You could almost imagine you hear something, but if you want to roll perception, not perception, insight. That's the word.
I'll roll an insight.
Why
Let
not?
us let's see if the dice have any pity towards Timmy.
Are the dice gonna be nice finally? No.
No!
Makes
Why?
sense. He's angry. He's
He
angry.
is
He's
angry.
not
He's not
listening.
thinking. In fact, his bandana started to turn a little gray on the very, very tip.
Mhm. Jubilee just clicks his tongue a bit, like, well, you've gotten a bit better.
Oh my god.
You stop this already. Clearly. We don't have to fight here, Timmy.
Timmy whips his head around with that click, and it only makes him angrier. You hear thunder rumbling in the distance as his grip on the sword tightens, and he just glares at you with that first comment before he goes, I don't really have a choice, do I? I can either fight you or I can let you lie to me some more. Which I'm sure you would much prefer to talk it out, so you could do that, but I've learned. I know the only way to solve things like this is to make sure you can't run again.
Timmy, I'm not running anymore. And again, his sword raises into that defensive position, and I will tell you now, for the time being, the only thing that will be happening on Jubilee's turns is he is taking the dodge action. He
It's
is not going to fight Timmy.
I know we're gonna have to get Timmy to say some mean things.
We'll see.
Timmy's
How well
Timmy's
is he
working on
doing?
it. How well?
How's he doing?
How you vibing, Juby?
Fine. He's doing great. He's just he has his weapon at the ready and said he's not gonna run anymore, and thus far, for what he could, he hasn't. He hasn't stepped more than a foot away, maybe dodging around to avoid attacks, but certainly hasn't tried to get away in any capacity right now.
Timmy is going to I'm hoping he hits so I don't waste a spell. Is going to, for a bonus action, now that it's his turn, cast a Zephyr Strike.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
okay.
Now, which is going to give him advantage on
That'll be
this
a
next
normal
attack.
roll.
I know, it's a normal roll.
It's better than disadvantage.
It's
Better than
better than
disadvantage.
disadvantage. All right, Timmy, please. Timmy, please.
All
We
right.
sigh. We sigh and continue. There's this sudden burst of wind around Timmy, and it billows his shirt up into the air as he launches at you with suddenly twice as fast as he was going. And Juby, you probably recognize this move. It's a move that Timmy wouldn't have learned by himself.
No, it's not. No, it's not. He knows this spell.
This is a spell that the Raven was known for.
Yeah. Yup.
And Timmy launches himself at you, but it's almost like he doesn't have quite control over with the sudden speed, and he was already missing and it just amplifies it still. And although the speed helps him get to you faster, you're still able to just sidestep him easily as he kind of skids to a stop on the other side of you, his hand trembling as he misses you once more, and more of that gray creeps into the corner of his bandana.
Okay. Well, for one, that's some rolls. Oh, goodness gracious, Jubilee. You are keeping your poker face really well this time.
Oh boy.
That's a 17 with deception right now. Uh,
Mhm.
Okay. He doesn't lose it.
Okay.
He
Okay.
doesn't lose it right now, but it's even with all of that, there is a clear downturn of the slight grin that he's been wearing. Because that's an old sting, and seeing Timmy cast that, oof, he doesn't like it. That's not cool. He grits his teeth a little and rolls his shoulders and just, so he taught you how to do that.
More if I taught myself, but yes, he did. What? Recognize the spell after all these years still? Would have thought you forgot it.
It's hard to forget that one.
Hmm.
Let's, no, he's not gonna attack. Again, not gonna attack, just
I know. We'll get there. We'll get there.
maybe one day. How's
Maybe
Timmy
one day.
doing? How
How's
is
actually?
he?
I am gonna roll a. I'm gonna actually roll a wisdom. See
Mhm.
how how is Timly? Tim? Timmy.
Timothy.
I can Timothy. Timothy. Ah, she hates it when people use his full name. That's a nat 20.
Oh,
Timmy Timmy is just lost in his anger. There's nothing you're saying is getting to him. Nothing you're saying is seeming to even touch. Though the gray is managing to stay just on the very edges. It's not it doesn't grow anymore after that conversation. And Timmy is going to end his turn. Timmy's actually well, what's Timmy gonna do? Timmy does not want to move this round because I know Timmy. Timmy's talking about that. Timmy, instead of attacking you this round, decides to stand his place instead. And he lowers his sword slightly and looks at Jubilee as he glares and goes, "So, is this where you've been hiding for 5 years?"
not all five.
Ah,
Been
so you've
moving
been here
around.
before. Moving
Yes,
around. Never managed to come back to there, did you?
I figured
Just
you all would be there. Didn't.
hmm?
I figured you all would still be there.
Mm, oh, so it wasn't a coincidence, was it? And his face forms even larger snarl as his eyes narrow. So you really were trying to avoid us. Here
I
I
would,
thought,
if
me,
you would just listen, I would explain it all to you.
and listen to what?
I tell you the
I listened
truth.
whenever I listened that day. Look how that turned out.
Didn't want you to be scared.
You just wanted me to feel like it's just leave me then? Yes, that helps so much with fear. That's
Oh.
you're absolutely brilliant thinking, Jubilee. Just deciding to leave me, that very much helped
I
me
did
over.
what was best for
Oh,
everyone there. I had no
oh.
other choice. You think I had a choice? You think if I had a choice to not leave, if I could have stayed, I would have.
The thing is, I can't believe that.
Oh, this. Oh, my stars. Timmy! Could you just,
He
for once? He's-
what? What, Jubu? What have I never what have I've always done whatever you needed. What do you need this time? Because I'm done listening.
Oh, then, of course, you're the first one. All right. So, this is how we're doing this. Okay, fine. 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 You're not going to listen. I suppose we'll just stand here out in the rain until the storm passes over, or until you exhaust yourself.
Neither is likely. I'll win before then.
We'll find out.
I'm not as weak as I used to be. After you left, I started to learn a few things. Started to actually, train. I just started to, take care, actually do stuff with myself instead of running away or moping. This, and he motions to around him as he spreads his arms wide in a very honestly a pose you used to do and that you still do sometimes whenever you make a big show of yourself, Juby. He stands there
Hmm.
with his arms wide and goes, "This is where I thrive now."
Hmm.
Oh boy.
He smiles and tilts his head a little bit and says, "All right then. Come prove it."
Mm. That I will. And I will be honest, that was a wasted turn on Timmy's part. He
Yep.
spent it the whole time standing, and then Juby, I'm guessing, is prepping the dodge.
Yeah.
So we back to Timmy.
It's
God,
assume
we
it's usually Timmy's turn.
when in doubt, it's Timmy's turn. When
We
in doubt,
know
it's
this
Tim.
is how you fight. Yep, this is how we fight.
This is completely legitimate fighting methods. Um,
Oh,
and with that, Timmy is once again going to cast Zephyr Strike because please, I'm begging you, Timmy, just one hit. Just one hit. That's all I need. That's literally all I need. Finally.
that'll hit.
And that'll hit, and it's normal because his advantage counters the disadvantage. But
Mhm.
you also notice once again that spell is casted, but then something different happens. The storm around you begins to pick up around Timmy. This is not something Raven did. This is something completely new. Timmy sure could never have done this before. And you watch as when he jumps at you, it's with the speed of almost lightning. As he goes at you 4 times the speed he should be going, as the winds themselves carry him forward. And he let me roll damage now, because
Roll of damage.
he finally actually hit you. Uh,
Mhm.
that's a first. Okay, +4, +2, +2, +2d8. That's 22 damage.
Ooh, take yeah.
This time, having taken a moment to steady himself instead of just launching again, which is strange. Timmy used to always kind of attack with a bit of recklessness, though that may have just been because he was never taking any attacks seriously. He launches at you, and this time you can't dodge in time. He knows that you're going to dodge. He knows what you do. And he brings his sword around and hits you on the side perfectly. And as he does, with Zephyr Strike, it causes a bit of a thunderous vibe, a extra bit of pain there. But it's
Mhm.
twice as loud this time. And so as he hits you, the very air itself bursts into thunder as lightning strikes in sync with him.
Mhm. 'Kay, that's good. Keeps up the concentration on the spell. Um, yeah, Jubilee clearly was not expecting that kind of speed and goes to dodge, but catch him in the side and he stumbles and grabs his side and looks over and is almost impressed. It's almost, but just caught there between that.
Oh, oh,
Yep. But that falls to something very familiar, even though he's clearly struggling to not, because you see very familiar envy as he grits his teeth. And oh, Jubilee. It's that spell. It's that spell again. It's seeing that. It's seeing the echoes of who he could never be and will never be. And he knows what he's supposed to be doing now with this second chance he's got. He knows what he should be doing, but There are demons that he has not yet conquered, and this is one of them. Oh, Jubilee. Ooh,
Oh,
oh, Juby.
oh,
Let's see if he gets second hit.
oh.
That's fitting. There. Well, let's roll him damage first.
Yep, that's a
That's a nat
gosh!
20.
That's a
Mhm.
crit!
Yep.
We're doing this again. I can't bel
That's fine. That's the offhand, so it's not as bad as it could be. But that is a
Okay.
D4. That's another D4. That's 3d6. So in total, it is that first strike with his rapier seems to be very familiar. It's almost too easy to dodge because he is the Jubilee you knew was never good with a sword at all. He was awkward and couldn't hold the weight properly, but yeah, no, that 15 would be doubled to
Ah!
30. Mhm. It's all good. You can
Uh,
minus another 15 because as he
boy.
stumbles around and you almost don't expect it, a knife slides into your back, Timmy, viciously
Oh.
before Jubilee seems to collect himself after a minute and does back off a good 10, 15 feet. And
Mm.
yeah, he seems to collect himself, but he did back off after that.
With the hit, Timmy's back just arches in pain as you dig a blade into him, and for a second, you see purple fill the bandana before it's almost instantly replaced by that red and gray, and he stumbles slightly because that's a painful blow. It it knocks him out slightly, and he kind of stumbles and lowers his sword slightly as he looks up at you, and just his eyes start to just fill with this sparkling just sparking energy. There you are. There's the bastard I know.
Stop it. Stop it.
Stop,
No. Why are
stop
you
what?
don't want heck, Timmy, I don't want to hurt you. Stop it.
What was that then? Just an accident? No, 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 no. You're acting like you changed. You can't change. I know that now. I thought you could. I try to believe in you. And here we are, 5 years later, with you having just both metaphorically and literally stabbed me in the back.
Reckless, insufferable child. Will you just ugh. I have not it's not that simple. It's not that bloody simple. If you would just stop this.
I'm,
Just stop.
I'm
Just stop. We don't have to keep fighting. We don't. This is getting us nowhere.
no, no. This is doing exactly what I should have done 5 years ago. This is me finally saying something. And the only way I can ever get you to listen.
Where's it going to go, Timmy? Where's this? Where's this going to go? And he gestures again, almost like he's going to again throw his arms wide, but he catches himself and kind of brings himself back in and is trying very hard to act like he's keeping his cool despite having seen that flash of old anger still in him. And he just is so clearly frustrated and brings a hand up, and that glow just of his swords just flickers over his glasses and illuminates behind that he is not looking at you, not directly.
Face me, coward. Look me in the eyes.
Brings his
5
hands
years you
down.
couldn't look 5 years you couldn't even bother to come back to look at me. At least look at me now.
Brings his hands down, and there is no outline of his eyes in his glasses. I thought you were dead. I thought you could have been. I mean, I checked the compass and it just spun. That's all it was. Do you think I wanted to go looking and see if I all I would find was oh, I don't know. I don't know, something terrible, something like like I don't I, I don't even know. A hundred different terrible possibilities of what could have happened, and I couldn't go home. You think I could face Raven? Do you think I could face him? Or the others or anyone? When I was when I thought I was I look, I'm not trying to excuse what I did. I know I pecked
Sounds
up. I
like
pecked
it.
up big time. I'm not excusing it. I just oh, it's
Timmy's eyes are just full of I need to make a wisdom saving throw on that one. Um, ooh, Timmy, as you say that, you watch as gray begins to creep farther up that bandana, and at this point, even in the rain and storm, it's visible to you, and that's new. You know Timmy, you know his bandana is his emotions, he wears it around his neck, and it's always been one of the things that you could always tell how Timmy felt. It's why he was so easy to talk to because he was always so open with you. This color though, that's that's new, and it's consuming him slowly. And the more you fight, the more you argue, the more you talk, the more it grows. And his grip on the sword tightens as his arms kind of stiffen a bit. And he looks at you, and let me find my words again.
mhm.
You didn't look for me because you thought I was dead? What do you think I thought? You leave without a word, and I check my compass every day for at least a year. And all I see is, but what do you think I thought? I was just a little boy who was told everything was okay, and then nothing was. And you think that just you, you know why? Do you know why that compass never stopped spinning whenever you checked it? Which I refuse to believe that you even ever cared enough to check that compass again until whatever reason made you bring it back out a couple days ago. No, the reason it kept spinning is because I put that away and I did not look at it again because I did not want to be reminded of a bastard who cares more about himself than anybody else he's ever had in his life.
He doesn't have an answer. He you any ground that might have been gained that you might have started to think you were understanding him shuts down. There is like a wall slammed between you two as you say that. And it is your turn.
Mm-hmm. What did Timmy attacked last time. No, Timmy, wait. Timmy, was it a wasted turn?
Nope.
It was not.
That
Okay, it was a normal attack.
no, that was the
That was the ouch attack. Yeah.
yeah, that
Okay.
was the "it hurt," and then it hurt back.
Timmy is going to, with that note, as he's trembling, he's going to decide to slam his sword into the ground. And Juby, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. Dice parser? Dice
Come on,
parser
dice
may
parser.
nice.
That saves.
Yep.
I think you have an idea what spell just got cast.
Describe
Um,
it for our audience, please.
yeah, no. I am still describing it. I just,
Mhm.
yeah. Um, Timmy cast Thunderwave. And as he slams his sword into the ground and digs it in, because this was not as a simple thunder wave. He casted that at level 2. You watch as all the fog that had been around you is completely gone. As it just anything that may have remained, any small bits, it's just shattered out as wind billows out from the storm, and he has to hold on to it as both the compass on it and this small little thunderstorm orb that you faintly remember is his focus billow, and he digs his heels in as a wave of thunder ripples out, pushing anything that's loose or not tied down is thrown away from you both as the loudest sound of thunder just bursts from him as he actually, I'm going to make a quick wisdom saving throw
Mhm.
as he keeps his face completely stone cold and glares at you.
And at that same time, because Jubilee is a rogue, and he can uncanny dodge to ensure that he takes no damage from that.
Mhm.
But that is flavored to at the same time as his brother slams his sword into the ground, Jubilee does much the same. Instead of the previous trying to dodge and weave and dance around in this fight, he digs his rapier into the ground and holds steady, kneeling on and stares you down as well as the wind billows and the compass that has sat at his chest this whole fight again almost seems like the chain of it would break, but the wind settles down and it stays hanging from his neck. And
And
he stares back at you.
Timmy glares at that compass with such burning hatred. That compass which he could never track for as long as he tried, just out in the open. Almost like Juby's proud to have it. Like Juby's glad he has it. To which Timmy has no belief in that. And that is Timmy's turn. Is Juby gonna dodge? Just prep to dodge again? Or
No,
oh, oh,
I think make me a dexterity save.
oh, fun. No, just a normal one.
Yep,
Or
just a
okay,
dex save.
that's a
That's a
nat
nat
20.
20. Well, you do. Nah, we'll keep that for later, maybe. We'll keep that for later, but you do see something
Okay.
strange. That his sword glows in turn as he seems to twist it, and there's this ticking sound. And as he stands up straight, make a perception check. See if Timmy can catch sight of this.
Roll a perception. Do I need to roll perception?
Yep.
I'm guessing.
Hmm.
Okay. I love me having to verify all my rolls.
All good.
Oh, that's so close. We were so close.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah, you think you almost see something move behind him. You're not you're not quite sure what it is because he stood up too quickly, but you're able to dodge out of the way, however you so flavor it, as suddenly this a swirl of golden feathers suddenly spin up around Jubilee that one passes just so close to you and you can feel how sharp those feathers are. And you can imagine it would probably hurt to be in the middle of that
Oh boy.
as he straightens himself. And you really aren't going to listen. You really do hate me, don't you? Hmm.
There's a slight hesitation in Timmy when you say that word, which he has used already, I believe,
Hmm.
or he's definitely showed it. But when you say it out loud, there is the slightest twitch of his hand. I'm not gonna even make you roll for that one.
Hmm.
Let me see. How well does he keep it up in total? I'm not gonna make you. How much is there anything else? Oh,
9.
there is Timmy. When you say that, there his eyes were just a brief second, but it's long enough that you Juby, who know Timmy, who know how to read him like an open book, or you thought you did before all of this. His eyes look away from you for a second when you say that, before more of that gray begins to creep up the bandana, and he looks back at you with that burning, burning hatred again. Yes. What else can I do? What else should I do?
I'm not asking for you to forgive me what I did. I'm asking for a chance to explain it at least. At
And
least.
how's that gonna end? Do you do you what could you say? What could you do that makes anything you will ever say to me something I could trust? I used to trust your words, and look where that got us. Do
Uh,
you think I just gave up on you instantly?
what else was I
I
supposed to do, Timmy? I was a kid. I was a
I
kid
was
just
a
like
kid
you.
too.
I know, and I didn't know any better. I didn't know what else I was supposed to do when you have someone, threatening to kill you. And I mean, Raven wouldn't help. Raven didn't believe me. I assumed you at least believed me. You at least I could keep safe. And if the worst was going to happen, then well, I couldn't bring out the compass if they found me because then they'd find you. Find you. And I mean I know now. Oh God, I was right. I was right. I was right. I was right. They would have killed me. I mean they did. They did. They did. In the end, they did. Of course they did. And
But you notice when you first mentioned the threat of you dying, let me roll quick. 2 quick dice, real quick.
hmm,
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
hmm,
This is fine. This is fine.
everything's fine. Everything's great. We're having a lovely time here in
It's
this fight.
absolutely lovely. It's yes, it's the most amount of fluff ever. The fluffiest of fights. Um, you notice whenever you mention that his gaze for a brief second, it his eyes widen before instantly going back to that cold, stony gaze, which he seemed to be set in this whole time. But for that brief second, that very brief second when you first mentioned that you were under threat, you saw a bit of Timmy in there. Timmy, you knew the scared little boy who would do anything for you. He a small bit of understanding before that hatred and anger and whatever that gray is consumed him once more, and the storm began to grow. But for a second, he you almost seemed to get to him before he tightens his grip on the sword, and by now his knuckles are white from just holding on to this as tight as he can. And he looks at you and goes, "You, I," and he's trying to form the words. Nothing is showing, but what does he say to that? He, in all of his years, I mean, part of him guessed something had to have happened, but that part was long ago just squashed by the conviction that you had left just because you didn't care anymore. And Timmy takes a moment to form his words. If that is in any way true, because I'm going to make a perception real quick.
Mhm.
See if he notices any changes in Jubi's hair color.
Yeah, I'd have set the
He
DC at 10. It's
hmm
pretty obvious.
yeah, he looks at that and he realizes you're telling the truth, and his you got to make another wisdom saving throw with that realization. The gray doesn't get any worse, but it's not getting better either. He looks at you with this anger before this anger, this sh- for a second shock, this just numbness before he finally finds the words, and he goes, "If it was true, I would have helped. It was not your choice to make."
I thought I was the bad guy. I thought I didn't deserve any help. That it was destined, that it was fate, that I was supposed to have everything go wrong because, I mean, it always did. It always did. It always went wrong. It always went wrong,
Including
Timmy.
me.
No, not you.
Is that where it started going wrong?
Before
Don't
you.
think I didn't notice the amount of times I upset you. And you see that any understanding that might have formed in him is gone again. And whatever progress you have started to make, it's completely gone once more. As he goes and he goes, "So you just," and he can't even form words again. It's just he's shaking with this raw anger, and he's just his turn's wasted. He can't do anything against you right now. There's too much to say, and he can't attack you half the time. So he's too distracted yelling at you and processing what you say to even take a turn.
Make me a constitution save.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Timmy, please. Timmy, please.
Yep.
Yep.
And Jubilee actually lowers his sword for a minute as this chain that's been at his hip that you thought was nothing much to think of. Just one more fancy bauble he's picked up. But it flashes with that same light that seems to be this new magic he has. That somehow he has it. He certainly didn't before. But some of that same light, you feel warmth as the wound in your back starts to close up a little bit. And Jubilee shakes his head. Just look, can we just can we put the swords away and just talk?
I already told you I can't trust anything you say. And he says this more shakily now because it dawns on him what just happened. Um, that was a healing spell, wasn't it?
Mhm. Not
Mhm.
not any spell that you'd recognize, but it that was
Oh.
definitely healing.
He he's trying to process this after you stabbed him back, and then you say things that he he doesn't want to acknowledge. He doesn't want to consider that's the truth because he doesn't want to bear that truth. Um, which what are you doing? Why are you trying to why are you trying to heal me? Why are you trying to help me?
As I told you, I don't want to fight you.
We don't really get a choice, do we? Or I'm not giving us a choice.
No, you're not.
I'm not going to I can't trust you to enough to talk. And anything you say won't change that. So I'm going to make sure you can't run and you can't lie. And then I I I and let me roll this deception real quick. That's a 5. I keep getting his modifiers mixed up. His face suddenly goes stone cold and he cuts
Mm,
off. And I would say that's Timmy's turn now.
it is Timmy's turn.
Timmy is once again going to try and attack. This time at disadvantage. He's not casting the other spell. Um.
No, no disadvantage. Jubilee did
Oh.
not. He didn't dodge. That was his
Oh.
action.
So that hits, doesn't it?
Yep, that'll hit.
All right. Timmy is going to once again ha- just launch himself at you, and this time it's not the same spell that Raven uses, but it's that other spell he had used, that one that you can't quite identify. And the winds once more pick him up and send him flying towards you, and he he brings his sword onto the other side of you that he hadn't hit before in a clean strike.
One that does not hit as hard as it should. Because,
Mhm.
again, infuriatingly, Jubilee has taken to start dodging again. In a way that you can tell he's starting to learn how you are fighting. And he's starting to learn you again, Timmy.
And he hates that. He hates how readable he is right now. He hates, and he trembles a bit as that happens. As as more gray is taken, and by now the red, what was once edges, now it's red on the edges. As he trembles like a leaf, he he realizes that Juby's learning. Jubi, who this should have been an easy fight for him. Jubi, who he was convinced was just a coward who had not changed, who he could easily take down. And then what is going to happen after that? He's when he's starting to make a comeback, and Timmy hates that. But when you look at his face, it's I can't do numbers. Um,
Typing hard, okay?
I literally
One more
we've made
time.
it. We've made
Third
it.
time's the charm.
Third time's the charm. Gosh, typing's hard. Um, for a second, his face is full of anger, and then it's just full of an emotion you can't place. It's almost like it's not this numbness. You've seen numbness on Timmy during a moment of grief or of fear. No, this is different. This is whatever that gray is. It's filling his eyes and his movements as he starts to tremble less. Just looks at you with this stone face.
Yeah, that's not right. That's that's not right. That's not right at all. Oh no. This is both in and out of character. Just oh no.
I don't think I've even told you, Noodle, what that color technically is.
Mm-mm.
I haven't. I've been saving that one. That one's a fun one.
Yeah, no, he is. God, Jubilee has been trying to get through to this kid, and he can, and then he doesn't, and then he does, and then he doesn't, and he's trying to find out what will happen, and he doesn't know what to do, and he just, for once, he knows he doesn't know what to do. He genuinely doesn't know what to do, and while he used to would dig his heels in and BS his way through it, there is that point where he again backs up and is clearly thinking for just a second, but you can see the gears in his mind turning as what was once something that would lead to chaos and shenanigans and any kind of mischief of the day. As he looks back at you and frowns, that grin that he always wears finally dropping. Just, so what do I have to do to prove that I won't run, that you can at least trust my words somehow? What is it? You beating me into the dirt? How's that going to prove it?
Timmy doesn't have an answer.
And he continues on. If I could at any point have run. I could have run. I could have run with this fight. The second I saw you, I could have run, and I haven't. And I am not going to. Not anymore. I I know what happens now. I know I can't run anymore.
What happens? You mean there's consequences to your actions? Who would have guessed?
Yes, to me, yes. Yes,
Never
there's
cared about this
consequences.
before. Why are you suddenly caring now? Why see, that's the thing, you act like all of these explanations make it all okay. Like
It
like,
doesn't.
all of it, like, for or if anything, like, they mean I should trust what you say, but the thing is, 5 years, Juby. This isn't like this happened over a small period of time. Like, there was no time. There was so many times you could have come back. Do you have any idea how long I waited for you? How long I sat in that bedroom of yours, just hoping you would come back? Did you even for a second think about the people that you left behind, about the people what you leaving would do? Or did you only ever think that you were the bad guy because you had to, and you were the bad guy because that is what you chose to be. And that is what you will always be. Because when in doubt, you will still choose to hurt those around you to save yourself. And nothing will ever change that. It just took me way too long to see that.
Every day.
What? And there's a hesitation in his voice.
You asked me, did I ever think of what I was doing? Did I ever think of who I left behind? I thought of you, of Raven, of Nita, of Rex, of Vinny, all of you. I thought of you every day. And it did convince me that I was the bad guy because I kept running away from you all. Because I could not go back and face disappointment, face any of it. Because I was a coward. I was. You're right. I was scared and making bad decisions consistently because I was too scared to own up to it. Because I was too scared to face any consequences, and in the end, it killed me. And I am asking a lot of you. I know. But I'm asking for another chance to do it right and to prove that you can, if nothing else, you can trust me again and that I won't run. That you can at least trust that I won't run again. I won't ask you to trust me more than that. I don't know if I deserve more than that. That's why I'm not going to finish this fight or whatever you're trying to goad both of us into doing.
You watch as a few tears begin to form in Timmy's eyes. And for a second, it is only the briefest of seconds, they start to form before you watch as the bandana turns completely gray. And for that briefest second, his grip on the sword loosened, and it was almost like he was gonna reach out to you for a second before that bandana becomes completely gray. There's no red left in it, no blue, no purple. It's just this gray, and he readies himself in a fighting stance again. And he doesn't respond to you, but it's this silent statement that nothing he's not listening to you anymore. It's almost like all your words are just flying past him. He's so lost in whatever emotion has gathered him. Whatever emotion makes his hands still tremble, even if he tries to act like he's calm. Whatever emotion is fueling the rage, which you can't seem to see on his bandana anymore, even though his eyes are so obviously brimming with it. And whatever emotion is causing the slight buildup of tears in his eyes, and Timmy's gonna ready himself to react now.
Mm, man. Oh, man. What are you gonna do, Jubilee? You don't want to fight, but this is. You have to. You have to. Oh, no.
Mm. Mm.
Mhm. This is great. This is fine. They're having a lovely time. These brothers are totally okay.
There's no trauma here at all.
Ugh.
Gosh, both of them.
Guess he's only left with one way to get through to him. He just again, Timmy hears that frustrated, wants fond exasperation that is more sorrowful than anything. He just sighs out, "You insufferable child," and readies his sword.
Oh
That'll
boy.
hit.
That'll hit.
Mm.
At least it's not a crit.
Not a crit. It's
I
not a
s
crit.
I'd say I probably jinxed myself. Um,
No, it's fine.
it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, what would you do? No, you wouldn't. That's 11 points damage. And I think that'll hit again.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
Mhm,
I can at least do this math so far. So far we
mhm.
don't have mean math.
Oh, 12.
Ooey boy.
Yep,
Ooey boy.
yep. And Jubilee strikes out with both sword and dagger, and this time they are. It is with a grace he did not have before. At it is he is at home with these weapons. Oh shoot, I also forgot because he still has the spell up. That's
Look away. I
2d4.
look away.
It won't it couldn't down him,
Oh
even
boy.
if I got max.
Oh
Yeah.
boy. We're brushing.
Mhm. As it is that again, that almost this close instead of like a hum of magic or the crackle of electricity like he's used to, it is almost like you can hear ticking as again Jubilee pulls away and stands strong and doesn't say anything else.
I'm guessing that was that toll? No. Was that? Wait, no. What spell was that? I'm curious.
He still has divine favor up.
Ah,
Mhm. That is divine favor,
as
right? Yep.
Juby hits him again, he he stumbles slightly and Timmy, my beloved. I I I need a new keyboard. Oh, he stumbles just slightly, but he's completely unreadable when he looks up. He's it's probably the most stone faced you see him this whole time. Despite the fact that you've obviously done a lot of pain for him, he it's almost like he doesn't react to that anymore.
Mhm.
He looks at you trembling. He goes, "So the magic's new. I, I don't know where you got it, and that insufferable ticking noise." And he tilts his head just slightly. "But at least you seem to have given up on that you will ever be like Raven." And there is this new cold in Timmy's eyes as he says that. He is purposely trying to make a dig.
Yeah. But Jubilee doesn't get angry. Surprisingly. Roll some insight.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't like that. Oh gosh,
You
one
know
of
what?
his
Take
things.
advantage because Timmy knows what he should be seeing when you say something like that. Yeah.
Mm.
Timmy knows what he should see. Timmy knows how old of a hurt that would be. How even when they might overhear things back home, back when people would just whisper when they didn't know kids were around, how that always make Jubilee angry or upset or something where he would react and see more than what he's doing now. Now he just it's not disappointment, but it's something close to it. But it's not at your words. It almost seems like he's disappointed in himself as you say that.
Oh, Juby, my beloved, I'm sorry.
And it
Oh
also seems like he's accepting what you're saying without trying to defend himself.
gosh, if his bandana wasn't gray, he'd have a reaction to that. Screams internally. It's fine.
Mhm.
Um, it's the point of no return. No. You know what? You know what? I don't care. There is the slightest bit of reaction, just a twinge of his eye, and realizing that didn't affect you, Timmy, he doesn't know what to do. Actually, he expected that would rile you up, that it would make you angry, make you attack recklessly, make you have some kind of reaction, make you match the hatred he has right now, but it doesn't. Something which he would honestly never want to say before, which even when he said it that time, it stumbled slightly as if it was a rehearsed statement, a statement that was fueled by anger, not by any meaning. He doesn't actually know what to say now. And finally, he shakes his head. And whose turn is
Timmy's turn.
it's Timmy's turn. Gosh, I love these two, but gosh, the dialogue throws me off some days. Or nights or hours.
Understandable.
Gosh, understand.
This is a dramatic fight.
It's a dramatic fight. As he this time, he once again doesn't move. And what instead of digging his sword into ground, he instead just I need Juby to make another constitution saving throw.
Yep.
Ah!
Yep.
Finally something that is lower than Timmy's pathetic saving throws for spells.
Yep. Rolling damage.
It's actually not a lot. Unlike the other one where it was a giant burst of thunderous energy, this time he just hits his sword on the ground. And it's loud, but it's nothing compared to what he has been doing. He's weaker now. And even if he's trying not to show it, even if he even if his bandana isn't even showing it, even if he claimed earlier he would outlast Juby easily, he's running out of things to do.
Mm,
And the rain begins to pick up and press even harder into his back as the cold air just makes his hair stick to his face slightly. He's trembling as he glares at you with this. He's so exhausted, and yet every fiber of him is fighting you.
mm. He doesn't wanna do it. He doesn't wanna do it. What do you do, Jubilee? He's not listening to you. He's not listening to you at all, but he's getting
No,
tired.
he
Hmm.
before Timmy, when you would talk to him, even if he dug his heels in, he would've bended eventually, especially to you, Juby. Even whenever you would snap or anything, he would snap back, but in the end, he'd always forgive you. He'd always listen in the end, and now he's not listening to anything. It's like he's completely shut himself off from you in that way.
Mhm. And yeah, there is again, God, how do you do this? How does this work? Yeah, it's gotta make a choice. What do you do? Do you attack or do you not attack? What do you do? Well, I will say, yeah, that fits.
Oof.
That fits. You wouldn't wanna hit with that, but that'll do it. But you do Timmy, you do notice of everything that's been happening, that constant insufferable ticking that you've been able to hear, it suddenly drops as that first attack swings wide almost purposefully.
Mm. That's exactly how much HP he had left.
And even if it does, that is non-lethal.
I
Pointedly,
know,
he's not
I
trying to knock
know,
him out.
I know, I know. I'm just
Uh,
saying.
yeah, it's fitting, it's cinematic, it's very cinematic. It stops pointedly, and his dagger cuts across your face shallowly, and he stays put right where he is with his sword and his dagger dangerously close, but even without having to look further, Timmy might have been outlasting emotionally, be able to handle this, but this close, he would be able to see Jubilee is shaking. The rain is coming down, the thunder is rolling overhead, and lightning flashes occasionally, but he who has seemed to stand so steady here, who seemed to be so rigid in his convictions, Jubilee is shaking.
For cinematic reasons, I'm
Mhm.
going to say with that final blow, Timmy just crumbles to the ground slightly as he can't stand up anymore. It's such a light blow, but the weight of it just most likely that first attack, even though you couldn't do any damage to him, it manages to knock his sword out and it flies towards the camera and slides against the ground. And as you do that final strike, Timmy, he falls back and he hits the ground and he is trembling like a leaf too. But this one's not from the emotional weight, it seems. This one's from just the overbearing exhaustion as he looks up at you with the most stone empty expression as he watches you tremble and he tightens his hand on the dirt and then goes, "You won, you bastard." And he closes his eyes and you can almost see tears starting to form as he holds onto the ground and just he doesn't say anything else besides that. And
No, I
should this be a
didn't.
point where we call a break?
Sure.
Because
5 minute break.
yeah,
I
because I
think.
need water.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Cue
Because
break.
the battle's over. Good break point. We're
We're taking a break,
taking a
and they
break.
finally get to talk now. Woo!
Yay!
Uh, so while we run and get some waters, how's the gallery doing? How we doing, folks?
Yeah. Let's check in the gallery.
Yep.
It's just a bunch of crying. Do want to do a quick check. Are we still good for recording? Because the FPS is not over yet. Okay, cool.
Cool,
Um,
cool.
we'll give warning as of the current moment. This is looking like a longer FPS.
Mhm.
So
Get your
just wanted to,
waters.
yeah, get your waters. I'm gonna get some honey actually, because
Get
You may
get
have
what you
noticed
need.
Even if not on purpose, Timmy's voice started to cry a couple times, and that's just because Spec's voice started to give up on me about halfway through. We're getting some
Oh,
honey.
obtain your stuffs.
Obtain this stuff.
Mhm. We obtain water break. So this is fine. Everything's great. It's still raining.
Oh yeah, no, it's still pouring.
Mhm.
It's absolutely pouring.
Yes, apply juice.
I don't have any. I have honey and water.
Yes, good.
I don't have tea either.
We're struggling, lads. Oh, we're struggling.
The statement honey and water was not an understatement. I literally have honey and water.
Ugh.
Technically, I don't need the honey. I just really like it.
Yeah,
It tastes good.
it'll help a little.
I love it. I don't even have a place to warm the water. I don't think you realize how bare bones I am in this situation.
We're having a good break. This is the emotional break.
This
We'll
is
get
the
back
break.
into the angst in a minute. We're just
This is
talking about lack of microwaves now.
yeah. This I do, but I don't have anything. I can't microwave a plastic water bottle for obvious reasons.
Yeah, that would be bad. Don't
For
even
our
have an
listeners
air
out there.
fryer.
Oh my gosh. For our listeners out there, I hope you're enjoying this minor break from the Kevin A. Oh my gosh, comment.
We're not gonna make poison honey.
Oh
No,
my gosh.
that's not how we win this FPS.
Timmy be like, you beat me, perish. Hmm.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I may have had too much honey. I regret my decisions now. Um,
Let me know when you're all good. I've got my water here. I've been drinking.
I'm taking one more sip and then I should be good.
Don't choke.
Sorry, I read that. Sorry.
The forbidden honey. Yes, thank you. The melted plastic honey. Yep. Mhm. You can have it once.
That sounds like something Jubi would say to Timmy. You can have it once.
Once. Yeah.
Once. Okay, I think I'm good, both physically and emotionally now.
Okay.
Ooh. Timmy's definitely not. Whoo! But
Right.
breaks over, I guess.
Yep.
The fact that the FPS needed a break kinda says a lot.
It's fine, they have a lot to
Fine.
get through.
There's a lot the 5 years worth. Okay, okay, I'm leaving the
Yeah.
gallery. I'm leaving the gallery back to roll zone. I'm banished.
Mhm. And we
We continue.
pick back up with the scene of the storm still raging, but maybe finally starting to abate a little, just a little, as Timmy is on the ground and Jubilee is still standing above him, weapons drawn. But not for long, because there is the loud clatter of metal as both his rapier and his dagger are dropped, and Jubilee shakes his head and runs a hand through his soaked hair that has fallen into his face to try and get some measure of control. Like he's trying to pull himself together, but he stops the motion halfway, and again his bangs fall and cover his face. And he just, no, I don't think I did. It
You're
really
still
doesn't feel like I won.
you're still standing, and I couldn't beat you still. Couldn't beat you still. And he's trying to talk, but it's coming out more in ragged breaths now
And
as he's holding he's still he has to eventually lower himself because his back still does hurt and so his cheek and just everything, the attacks on the side, he lays his head back somewhat as he just takes in deep breaths. You won, even if you don't think you did. I know you did. I know.
so does this mean you'll listen?
I don't
And
have
he,
much of a choice, do I?
I think you always do. And he leaves his weapons where they fell and goes with bit of a limp, wincing at the wounds that you did get on him, because you got him pretty good. And he sits down heavily into a puddle beside you and rests his elbows on his knees. Not running away anymore. I'll say it again, and I'll say it again. Say it 100 times if I have to. I'm not running, and you don't need to stab me for it.
Why? And there's almost this desperation in that question. Why aren't you going to run? It's all you did for 5 years. Why are you suddenly changing? You don't change. Why? Why? And he fades back into that heavy breathing as he tries to bring a hand up to brush the hair out of his face, but he can't before he just lowers his hand again.
And Jubilee reaches to his side and, roll perception for flavor.
Let's see. Let's see. I'm gonna have to memorize these modifiers actually.
Mhm.
Oh, that's not 20.
Yeah. You see him go to pull where you saw the chain before that glowed, and then he pulls out a pocket watch, one with an inscription on it that has a music note that has angel wings on either side. And He clicks it open, but there's no sound to it. No ticking of this clock. But oddly enough, you see inscribed inside of it is his name. His name, not one you saw in the papers. And you see a date on it as well. A date from a few days ago, actually. Even before you checked your compass. And he holds this and he looks at it before he clicks it shut and it glows faintly. And some of his own wounds begin to close up a little bit more. He just looks at it a little bit longer, shakes his head, shrugs one shoulder. Someone decided to, someone decided to essentially kick my ass into,
Convenient.
huh, into not thinking I didn't deserve another chance. I mean, you can't really when the goddess of second chances herself comes and says, "Hey, stop being a dumbass." You kind of have to listen.
Timmy, there's I am getting really annoyed with that. Timmy, it's very briefly, but whenever you say that, he looks away. And do you want to roll insight on that? Actually, I'll let you roll insight.
Let's roll some insights.
That's an insight one. That's an insight one. I'll say that's an
Yeah,
insight. Oh,
that's a 22.
that's twice. Juby, you recognize this emotion because it's something you felt just earlier for a brief second before he looks away, despite the horrible situation that he's started to piece together, that knowing what that date is. When you mention the word goddess, there's this hint of jealousy in his eyes before he looks away. And that's new. Um, he lays his head back and goes, "So it took a goddess for you to finally acknowledge that you could be someone, not your family, your hometown. Only a goddess could do that."
Feel like it was something more. There was some other part of it, but I think the dying and coming back.
I'll say that there's
What?
don't talk about the dying part. And I'm not keeping with you on this. That he says that without hesitation.
It happened to me. It happened. It's all over the
I
news.
don't. I know. How do you think I knew to check my pocket watch? It sure wasn't because you did anything. Because I found
I
a
know.
newspaper talking about what you did, about the destruction you caused, and then you just no. Don't mention the dying. I, and he
Tried to
can't
stop
form
it.
the just don't. You what?
I tried to stop them from blowing it up.
Wait. No, 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 no. I know you. You. It's like the paper said. You had to be the one. You would have been the one who. You. tried them, and he doesn't believe you.
Yeah. You don't even, I won't say need to roll insight. He has kind of hunched his shoulders and shrunk into himself as he admits that. And he actually takes his glasses off at that point. And you know he really doesn't do that. He hates having his glasses off. They're as much a comfort item as anything. But he does, and he turns them around to look at himself in the pink lenses and gives a bit of a wry grin. Yeah, I know how it looks. I know there's people I've got to face who are definitely going to think I took their idea and ran with it. But I wasn't going to. I was going to just find somewhere out around here. There's boulders out in the desert whenever you need to find them. They're very convenient. And I was mad and frustrated, and I needed to think, and so I was gonna just go destroy some boulders, but the do you remember those people who came to town before I left?
You Yeah, I remember you told me there was nothing to worry about, to
I
not
lied.
invest.
Obviously, I lied about them
Course you did, you bastard. Okay.
because I knew you would try and fight them, and I knew that if you got wrapped up into it, you'd be in a lot more danger, and I wanted you to be safe. Of course, I did it in the most stupid way possible, but I thought if you didn't know anything, you'd be safe.
So was either tell me the truth and decide for me if I would do anything, or leave me alone and just hope I continue to listen to you and didn't go after them either way. Do you
Didn't think
think
you
I
were
didn't
alone.
notice that you left after that date? Do you think I didn't connect those dots? I wasn't as stupid as you always thought sometimes. I did pay attention.
Yeah, I should have given you more credit. I'll admit those first year and a half, wasn't exactly thinking. It's just running, looking over my shoulder at every moment, expecting to see them there. But then I got comfortable. I thought, certainly it's over. Maybe thought about going home. Thought about it, and maybe that would have cleared my head if I actually got all the way out here instead of getting confronted in, well, in what used to be paradise. Ironic name. Puts the glasses back on finally and looks back down at the pocket watch. They were the ones that lit the TNT. I know you probably don't believe me, but I did try to protect those people. That town, they even at even at my worst, they didn't chase me out like I got used to. And so I tried to repay at least a little kindness, but didn't exactly do very well. Not Might be better in a fight, but when you're stars, how many were there? Three? No,
You
four?
you try to fight multiple people? And he looks at you and looks at you, and he can't move his arm right now, but there's a silent motioning with his
Mhm.
eyes. Um,
And he gives the sheepish, wry grin, but it's not a showman's grin. It is very much a, yeah, I know kind of expression.
oh god. How's the roll if Timmy believes him? We're gonna roll with
Mm.
advantage because I
Yeah, take some advantage.
taking some advantage. There we go. That's a dirty 20.
Yeah, because even if he doesn't want to believe,
The storylines.
it lines up and
There's
yeah.
At first he doesn't. At first, especially when Juby's talking about staying away, he does not believe him. It's just more lies about how he cared, about how he might have had some form of reason in his head, how on some level it wasn't just him being a selfish coward who Timmy hates. But the more he talks, the more Timmy he can't there's only so much he can blame on Juby being a coward. And when Juby says that he was willing to save these people, the way Juby says it and what he saw in the battle a few minutes ago, Timmy Timmy can't call it lies, no matter how much he wants to. And with that, you see a bit of the gray turn to turquoise.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hmm.
There is definite relief in how his shoulders sag because it also makes sense why he's easier to read right now because he is not hiding anything. There are old tells that he used to hide. Even when you were kids, he knew how to hide them. Even and when he'd slip up, you knew to look for these because that meant he was slipping up. But he is clearly purposefully doing his best to not hide anything, even though it makes him uncomfortable to be this honest. He's definitely trying.
Oh, if only both of them were. Oh, if only both of them were.
Well,
It's a work in progress. We're working on it. Um, that's what this is for. Um, Timmy is quiet as he realizes what Juby isn't doing, what he's not trying to keep secret, and he just kind of stares into the sky for a bit. You know, if it makes you feel any better, I did listen back then.
it
I
makes me glad to know you were safe.
I didn't. I trusted you that it was all fine, and I didn't go investigate them. And part of it was trust, part of it was, I don't know, an inability to leave that room. But I stayed away from them. So hope all those 5 years were worth it.
You're alive.
Hope this worth it. He almost scoffs a bit. Barely right now.
Give me your hand. He holds out
What?
a hand.
You
Give me
want
your hand.
Timmy kinda yanks his hand back a bit. He goes, What?"
I'll help.
Here. Uh, Timmy, let's make a quick oh, that's 320.
Mhm.
I'm trying to you know what? I'm gonna interpret that as the dice saying, um, he doesn't shit, how do I interpret that? Because this whole game, that means he's been in oh gosh, no, I know what that means.
No.
It
I
did!
Spec, I'm rattling you. Spec, I'm rattling you. Let him have nice things, Spec.
Nice things, right? Okay, we'll just see. Hey, die. What does it mean?
What does this mean? What are the dice trying to
Okay,
help?
it means help. It means help. The dice just dice has stated it means help. Um,
Thank you, dice
very.
parser. Thank you
Thank
very
you, dice.
much.
Thank you very much for ignoring for countering what technically a dirty that 2030 meant. You know what? I have a good way of combining it. He looks at you, and his face turns very you watch as that turquoise turns into a purple. He doesn't get more color back. It most of the bandana stays that gray, but for a second it turns this purple. For it turns into that violet color that Timmy didn't get as often, but you know what that means. It's nervous, and very slowly he reaches out a hand to you.
And you can choose to fail the save. We're out of combat. But otherwise,
I, the player, demand it.
yeah.
It's an automatic fail. Timmy does not, but I, the player, don't care what Timmy thinks.
Mhm. Ooh, nice.
Oh, nice.
And as Timmy, as you take your brother's hand, that pocket watch glows faintly. And again, you feel that warm light, that maybe just something in the back of your head. You can just recall something, a moment, a brief moment of deja vu, maybe, of a better day where it's not after a fight exhaustion, but another time when you two were just sat out in the rain after having probably been out far too long against your better judgment. And again, you're healed somewhat. Not not very powerfully, but it's there.
Timmy takes in a deep breath, almost, of air. You see the slightest of a tear fall. He closes his eyes, and the memory lingers before he stiffens again. He yanks his hand back.
Really carefully pulls his own back. At least I can
Oh,
do that.
that's definitely new too. There's a lot of new things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that from the film
Jubi holds up his watch and yeah, that's from this.
which you got when you and he's very stiff when he says that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he's like, it's very
Repeat again, you cut out a little bit.
no.
Rip.
Rest in peace. You idiotic bastard.
Well, look, I can be pretty I can talk my way out of a lot of things, but well, can't really talk my way out of a sword. Ah, and he
Obviously.
clutches at his sweater. And roll perception again.
That's a perception roll. Okay, okay. I think I know what the modifier is. Do I? Yay, I had the right modifier. Yay.
The DCs.
Ugh.
Roll, take advantage. Why not?
Why not?
Where you're at, yeah, that'll beat the DC. You can see too, just from the fact that, Jubilee sat up and kind of leaning forward and you're laid back. You can see his back. You can see what's missing from his back. You can see he has his coat on, but that shouldn't change the fact that there are two lines that have always been there, that have always been stitched up, and those are gone. And again, like you thought you saw something with that earlier spell, but you can see it again when he grabs at his chest. You can see something at his back under the coat move. And that's definitely not there before either.
Timmy is frozen. Timmy knows what should be there. He knows how that affected Juby. He was he witnessed how that Timmy knows. And he stares at it and almost silence for a bit, which this kid is still being very quiet for himself. Despite
Mhm.
all the talking, he's still so quiet. He stares at his back and goes, Did did when you it's back, there the lines there I he doesn't even know how to say it. Like how he doesn't know how to say it that won't upset Juby in his mind, that won't cause Juby to snap. But he wants to know. And
I'm supposed to earn them back, not not the lines. And he hesitates on that word, obviously refraining from calling those what they really were.
he doesn't want to use that word either.
Yeah. S-
Timmy's not that mean right now.
No, they're tired. They're so tired.
It's been a long battle, a lot of running on both ends.
Mhm.
Continue, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. You're good. He doesn't move his coat, but there is definite movement you can see now, and now that you've noticed it, it's there, it's obvious, and it's not small, it's very alive, it's very part of him, and reacts as he speaks and moves, and you probably have a very good guess what's hidden under that coat.
May I say?
Go ahead.
Timmy realizes those are names.
Mhm.
Timmy, who he knows Raven. He knows what that looks like, and he definitely knows because he remembers Juby talking about that sometimes. He he it's something that Timmy himself he knows he'll never have. That it's something special to them, and he's quiet for a bit as he thinks over his words carefully this time for once before he finally asks, "What do you have to do to earn them?"
Well, to earn them back to where they should be, um, It was said that I need to give her a good story. I think it means I need to, I need to turn my life around somehow and fix fix what I messed up, fix any gestures to all of himself. And I don't quite know what that all means, but been taking small steps while I figure it out. I know I know I needed to talk to people again. Apparently, apparently being gone for 2 weeks, long enough to let the papers find out. Apparently, news spreads fast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I found out.
Hmm.
Like I said, you sure didn't contact me. You saw that bitterness in his voice.
Yeah. Juby almost laughs, like that kind of stressed, anxious laugh that he gets. Just, well, considering I didn't know if you'd even answer, I did the one thing I thought of that would at least make you come looking. And he leans back to look at you, and very pointedly, there is a shine of light on that compass that is around his neck.
He's quiet and he goes, "So, is that the only reason you didn't look for me when you realized it stopped spinning? Because you." He doesn't even know how to put into words. It's saying it speaks it into existence. Saying it means what Juby did is understandable, and he doesn't want that. He wants what Juby has to have done to be unreasonable because it hurts less then. Would you like to make an insight?
Yeah.
Because you're getting close to figuring out what the gray is, actually.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
no. You know what?
oh.
I'm looking away. Looking away. It's
Dice
still nothing.
parser. Dice
It's still
parser has
nothing.
decided to attempt to do a violence. No,
No,
that's what I
no,
thought.
okay, that's better.
We're not going to do a violence here.
As he yeah, argues with that, Juby, it's been a long, long time since you saw Timmy. The person on the ground next to you who was willing to fight to his death just to get this sense of victory over you is not the little boy before who would follow you everywhere and listen and who had the biggest smile and just shone with the sun, who had little thunderclouds sometimes when he got a little angry. This is this is not that kid anymore.
Nope.
This is someone who grew up while you were away and
Hmm.
grew up to hate you, but it's still beneath all that. It's Timmy, and you have known Timmy since the kid was could barely do anything. The moment he was out exploring, you 2 were causing mischief together.
Hmm.
This so you know how to read him, you know how to read emotions. This gray, which has been creeping up, which has consumed him, it's denial.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's in denial over everything because it 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 makes the pain less for him.
Hmm.
Hee
Oh, this kid. Yeah.
it's good.
Juby finally clocks what that gray means. Finally sees it, figures it, and yeah, his grin is back, but it's kind of a just that seems to be his resting kind of resting face. Not really pleased But yeah, I I kept it 3 years. I kept it there for 3 years because I thought that's how long it would take to lose them. When they if they couldn't find me, then that was probably long enough. Didn't really know much of anything. I didn't even leave with money. Ugh, not exactly smart. But figured 3 years would be enough, and I looked at the compass again, and it by then I didn't know what you did to yours when it started spinning. I didn't I didn't realize that that you would have put yours away. Because when I saw that, if I thought you broke it, or that, well, turned out to be right that you hated me, or stars, something worse had happened, and that something worse was unfortunately what kept coming up. You weren't wrong when you called me a coward. You aren't the only one to do so. 'Cause, I mean, I was. Because if I went back, then that would mean I'd know the answer. If the worst had happened, then I'd know that the worst happened, but if I didn't go back, then that meant that you could also still be safe, and that the compass was just spinning for some other reason, that any other potential aside from the worst could maybe be it. It's kind of a got stuck in a paradox of all things. So long as I didn't look, you were both okay and not. But the fact that you could have maybe been okay was I couldn't face you being not. I know, I'm so eloquent at this moment. It's fantastic. It's great. I'm greatest orator of all time. I know. He gestures a little bit more, gets a bit more animated as he says that, and you see some of the old Jubi come back. Uh,
Hmm. It's the faintest of chuckles, but it's there when Juby does it. Mm. Timmy looks at him. You know, any time before that, it wouldn't have been spinning.
yeah.
3 years. That's how long it took for me to give up on you. I tried so hard to believe that you were gonna come back, that a part of you cared enough to come back because I I could even consider that you were dead. No, no, no. Raven, even I I figured if you weren't dead, then like you said, the only other option was
You thought I
that you'd
hated
be.
you.
Timmy looks away.
Timmy. No, no,
No,
gods, never.
our last day was together, and then and you
And it
obviously lied to me, and then you were gone. I and you see as the gray starts to melt into blue. I I did I tried. I didn't know what I had done wrong. I didn't know why you didn't care anymore.
hmm, I don't know how he'd react to I don't know how Timmy would react, but I know you can see it. You know immediately as soon as your voice starts to break, Timmy. You know immediately what happens, and Jubilee hugs you.
There it is.
Yeah. There
Me,
is no thought to it. It is instinct to reach out and grab hold of you as tight as possible. And he says, I'm sorry. Gods, I'm so sorry. Never, never, I swear. I swear on anything, everything, on the stars themselves, I never hated you. Not
Timmy
once.
trembles in his arms and he's frozen. He can't hug back. And then you see how long it takes him. He only a couple of seconds in, he just shatters in your arms. He he's so weak, but he brings himself up and he hugs onto you as if letting go, you will disappear into the air again. And he buries his face into your shoulder, and all the gray turns to this deep blue as Timmy breaks down sobbing into your shoulder.
And not once does Jubilee let go. He
Mhm.
does not at all. And I think there is a time that, again, the storm starts to lessen more and more until finally this poor kid is all cried out and the storm has finally faded to only gray clouds in the sky. And both of them are absolutely soaked to the bone, and the city around them is quiet. That finally, he doesn't let go, but he pulls back a little bit.
Timmy's grip tightens.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Mhm. Easy, easy.
Don't please, don't leave, please.
Not leaving. I have a friend here. Do you want to go inside? So we're just not out in a puddle. It's gonna get cold.
Timmy's quiet and he holds onto Juby and his grip tightens and he goes, first, I, I, he's trying to form his words, and then finally goes, I promise you're not gonna leave again. Please, I don't want to let go until I know that it's
Timmy. Hey, hey, look at me. And
Timmy looks up at you and his eyes are just filled with tears that are streaming down. And finally, as you look into the eyes, there's that kid who is
yeah.
hiding underneath so much denial and anger and storm. There he is, the
Hmm.
same kid that you watched fall asleep, leaned against you that final day, once again in
Hmm.
your arms, weeping.
Timmy sees his big brother. Sees not the gambler, not the bastard who left him behind. No, sees his big brother, who, as usual, is pretty clueless about what he's doing, but tends to bullshit his way through as best he can. And never really has a plan, but sometimes he gets ideas. And he gets one of those right now, as in what might seem juvenile, but at the same time is the most unbreakable oath of tunes, hooks your pinkies together and says, I promise I am never going to leave you again.
with that, Timmy, he once again breaks down crying, but it's different this time. This relief as he brings your hand to his chest and he clutches it, and that blue begins to turn a slightly lighter shade as he holds it so close, like it's his most prized possession.
Mm.
He finally allows himself to let go of the hug. Let's You're not he gives a very weak chuckle. You're not used to the rain like me. I'd be fine out here. I've slept in worse conditions, but no, you. Let's
I'm
get you in.
probably gonna be sick. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're a wimp, aren't you? You bastard.
Little bit,
Oh,
I'll admit
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Look at you, Timmy. That's out the smallest of laughs. Always were a little coward wimp bastard.
Alright, you're
He
pushing it this time. You got some
Oh,
leniency, you're
you're
pushing
getting
it.
old now. Oh, am I pushing it? You're starting to sound like the old man now too. Are you old
You
too?
little
Uh,
shit, and he drags you in and noogies you.
and it's so faint, you almost don't see it. But as Timmy lets out the softest of laughs, at the very edge of where the bandana is tied, so well hidden that Timmy definitely can't see it, and most of his hair covers it, there's a drop of yellow in the bandana.
And Jubilee smiles, goes and to pick up their weapons, and he looks at his brother a minute after quietly, you know, explaining, yeah, he knows people in the city, starts pointing out stuff and probably where they're gonna go. And he takes a look in the direction of where they'll of the inn where he could probably get them a room. Probably one that'll at least take a little bit of pity on two drowned rat looking fools. And there's a bit of a glint in his eye. I'll race you there. And he
Timmy
takes off before waiting.
Timmy lets out the loudest of laughs before he gives a small smirk and a bit of orange fills his bandana. I'll see you later, you slow bastard. And Timmy's gonna cast one more Zephyr Strike mixed with his Gale Step. And Timmy can move 120 feet. He's gonna race right after Juby. And
It
that's
races by and overtakes him, and as these shouts of competition and indignation on Jubilee's part start to rise, we see the lights coming on across Los Olivia as we fade out.
Mhm.
And thank you for sitting through this very long
Yeah.
FPS. Oh my
Woo!
gosh. Thank you
Uh,
so much, dear
Thank you.
listeners.
Listeners are beloved and present and future. Gosh, it was a lot, but we're here now.
They're starting on a good road. And
It's
with
gonna take
that,
a lot of
yeah.
yeah,
It'll
you go.
take time, but it'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be
It's
good
at least that gray seems gone
for now.
for
And
now.
with that, we will bid you all adieu.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.